unfortunately. All right, I'm going to call this meeting to order. We're 6:34. Roll call. Jim Gibberti.
Get it done, Rob.
Get it done.
Well, Sandy.
Oh, Sandy Slavin.
Malcolm White.
I guess we do it alphabetically.
No, you were already there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay, we've got 4 in attendance. Citizens participation. Do we have anyone? Hello? Anybody out there?
I have 2 boxes here, but I don't know who they are.
Ralph Spinoza and Steve
Suey?
Suey.
Steve Suey's here about that grinder pump off of where is it? Jimmy had sent you a note on it
Yeah, I remember that.
off of Upton Street in Swiss Beach. And that's why Steve is on, more than likely.
Yes, for one up here.
Thank you.
Steve,
And I don't know.
do you have any video?
I do. There you go.
Ah,
There you are.
there is a live body behind that word name.
There you go.
I was wondering. I was afraid we might have had a sock puppet or something.
You guys will have to spoon feed me because I printed the agenda and left it in the office.
Well, at least you know where it is.
I know exactly where it is. It's right on the printer.
Okay, Steve, go ahead. There we go. Okay.
Yeah, so I was just coming before the commission with an alternative to doing the sewer grinder pump for one Upham. And that is that we would, it's a new construction. We would put in a dry well on our property and then go ahead and install a sump pump and then hard pipe that sump pump right into the dry well on our property. So, trying to do an alternative to doing an expensive grinder. We have a grinder on one of our other properties that we've had a number of issues with and had to replace a couple of times. So we're just trying to avoid that for a new homeowner.
Guy, do you have anything to throw in on that?
In the area of Swiss Beach, Rose Point, we required grinders because of sump pumps. So what he's saying is that he's going to put an outside area for the sump pump.
Right.
The sump pump
Right.
too. It still has a sump pump. So my concern is, and down the road, someone decides to hot pipe it back into the sewer because maybe the wet well fails, maybe the water table rises. He had given me some water numbers from 10 years ago as far as a test pit done. And we know that the water level has risen quite a bit more. So I'm very apprehensive to allow it for a couple of reasons. One, because of failing and cut time into the sewer. And the other, because it sets precedent for those others that, especially Nazi's property, we had grinder pumps, both his properties in Swiss Beach and in Rose Point. And we had talked about, and we had a policy that we said we're going to require grinder pumps, grinders, because it doesn't allow for sump pumps. So he wants to talk to the board, and it's the board's discretion as to how they want to handle it. But he assures us with his integrity it won't happen, but once he sells it, he has no control, no knowledge, no input, and anything can happen, and that scares me, and I'd rather not see it.
Yeah, and what we're talking about with the dry well is, the big tank, it almost looked like a miniature septic system. So we're not talking, just a 55-gallon drum or anything.
So I get it. I get it. And so it's going to be a 1,000-gallon hard tank.
Correct.
It's going to be-
I'm not sure if it's 1,000 gallons, but it's a big tank.
So whatever it is, sump pumps pump quite a bit. And
Yep.
so, if you're going to put a tank, then it has to be sized properly. You have to know the gallons per minute of that sump pump. If a rain event lasts, sometimes they pump for a couple of days. Where's it going to go? When you say a dry well, I think of a stoned area that's going to leach into it, leach out. And so the water.
We just did this at 50 Shore Ave. We did similar. We don't have a sump pump there actually, but we put in a dry well on that property as well, and ran all the gutters and everything to that dry well on the property.
I understand. The Switch Beach is unique. But anyways,
Okay.
that's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman.
Sandy.
Yeah, thank you. Steve, how easy would it be some future homeowner to detach it from the dry well and put the sump pump into the sewer system?
Yeah, I just don't see why they would. I mean, we've done these dry wells for quite a bit now on properties that are in flood zones. This property is not in a flood zone. It is out of the flood zone. So I just don't, like I said, this would be hard piped to it. So underground pipe going from the basement over into the dry well.
So if someone wants
They'd have a
to,
dry well that serves no purpose, if they remove it.
okay, so if someone wants to put the sump pump into the sewer system, they're gonna have to dig in their ground. They're gonna
Yeah, they're
have
gonna have
to
to
move
repipe
that. That is
soil
not-
and everything.
That is not true.
Guy, wait a second.
Well, your answer to the question is not true. You just change the plumbing from the sump pump into the pipe going out of the house. Pretty straightforward. Sandy, we have the issue, and they're doing it all the time. That area is just loaded with sump pumps, and they're tied to the sewer. It's that easy, that common.
I'm asking Steve, he's
Um,
doing the construction. What
I
would
know,
it
but he's not
take?
gonna live there.
I'm sorry, Guy.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like Guy said, I mean, it's not a big procedure to change it. I just don't see why somebody would. Yeah, I mean, the sub pump, if it's, pumping water, it's gonna go right into that tank, the big dry well tank.
So,
Somebody remove that, there's no reason for the dry well tank on the property.
right. So some pumps are illegal tied into the sewer system, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah.
And we're encouraging other options. Every other option, whether running it on the surface or running it into a dry well, correct?
That would be the way
Yeah.
to go. I mean, we have encouraged a lot. We have asked people to remove them from the homes to outside
Right.
the property, and their complaint is that it runs back into the house. If he's going to put a solid tank, then that's one issue. If it's going to be a leaching tank, that's another issue. So, and I don't know what he's doing, and I'm not clear as to what he's doing.
Okay,
So
Steve, can you
Yeah,
answer?
we can go by your specifications as far as the tank. I'm okay with that too.
We have
Steve,
them.
with this groundwater discharge, is it like a recharge system where it's gonna go back into the ground? What is it?
Yeah, we did let me get the one we just did. Yeah, I don't have it right in front of me, but I'm amenable to either.
So,
So if you want, just a solid tank, like a holding tank, that's fine. But
Well-
typically, they do leach back into the ground at a slower pace.
so the tank is just to buy you time for it to perk?
Correct. But it's a large tank. Again, I think they're 500 gallons or something like that.
Well,
And if it fills up, does that sump pump put the water back in the house?
Yeah, I mean, I think they'd have a lot bigger problems if if that tank was filling up.
And if the grinder pump fails, it puts it back in the house?
Correct.
Okay. Mr. Chair, what do you want us to do?
Well, we're encouraging alternative methods to what's existing right now. Grinder pumps obviously have been a deterrent from any sump pumps being able to tie into the septic system. Where specifically are you located, Steve? I don't.
It's gonna be on the corner of, One Upham and Swiss Beach Road.
Okay, so you're down in our sensitive area.
Yeah, the lot is not in the flood zone. Just to give you, I don't know if you can really see that, but that's the type of tank that we just did on 50 Shore Ave, which is in a flood zone, but that is
Is that a concrete tank or
concrete.
concrete?
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
concrete tank.
Now, does that have the ability does that now, is it a solid concrete tank or is it a leaching tank?
I believe it's a leaching tank.
Okay, so the potential for it to fill up isn't there. Potentially it would not
Right,
fill.
exactly,
It would
leach
hold-
back into
would
the
hold and it would
ground.
Leach back in.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, so typically there's some
More of a
crushed stone
visual.
around it and things like that as well.
Peter?
Is this tank, it's holding nothing but rainwater runoff?
Correct.
And what does the sump pump have to do?
The sump pump, we go ahead and install one in the basement in case it's needed. Our preliminary research has shown that
And the
it's not
sump
gonna be
pump-
needed.
And the
But
sump
what
pump
we
is
put one in.
connected to the tank.
Correct. Correct. It'd be the only thing connected to the tank.
So there's nothing connected to our system.
The house itself would be connected to the sewer system.
The sanitary waste would be a separate
Correct.
item.
Correct. But that's it.
So until somebody switches it over, it's really none of our business. It's just that the potential for somebody to change it is very simple.
Yeah. I mean, right. Then they have that, this tank in the yard that does no function.
Right.
The
Okay.
trouble, Mr. Chairman, that I see is that we have absolutely no control over that sump pump as long as it is not connected to our system. And we shouldn't have any say yes or no.
Steve,
Yes.
Sandy?
in the purchase and sale agreement with this house, is there any way you can put in some type of restrictions to say that that sump pump cannot be relocated and must discharge into the dry well tank?
Yes.
And therefore, anybody who buys the house, that restriction can continue?
Yeah. Yes. I can talk to the attorney about doing some type of, I don't know if it's a valid deed restriction, if they could do something like that, but we can certainly put into the PNS and whatnot.
Yeah, it'd be a deed restriction. They're not
Yeah.
always enforced. I know that.
Yeah.
From
But
experience.
yeah, I have no problem doing that.
But if there's a deed restriction there, if the house changes hands and we have reason to suspect that the piping has been switched, we could enforce that deed restriction. Is that correct, Mac?
I would think so.
Okay. I mean, if you can do that.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
It would seem to cover your problem and ours as well. Or at least it will address
Agreed.
both.
So
Agreed.
Guy,
I
the
think
hook,
we're all trying to do the same thing,
Yeah.
Right.
So,
so Guy, the hookup for the house would be gravity. Is that the issue?
That is correct.
Okay, I understand.
So gravity comes into the house, then it connects to all the plumbing in the house.
Yeah.
It's in the basement. The basement's where the sump pump is.
Yeah.
Convert
I
it to the
understand.
grinder pump to the gravity is easy peasy.
I know where you're coming from, but
And I just, yeah. That's
I
all.
like the fact that he's recognizing that we have a problem and looking for an alternative.
Well,
I
I'd like to see a recent perk. The perk he's presented was 10 years old. The water table 10 years ago certainly isn't where it is. When we did some work up there, we found the water table at 4 feet. So I'd like to know on his particular property, what's the water, because if that tank's going to be put just above the water table or in the water table, if the water level rises, then that tank is going to fill. Then where does it go? So I'd like to see a recent perk that tells us where that water table is on that particular piece of property. And then how high above that water table is he going to put that tank so it doesn't get affected by the water table if it's risen over the last 10 years, which I'm sure it has.
Yeah, and quite honestly, if we run into groundwater at 4 feet, we're not doing a full foundation.
I would hope not, but
Yeah, I mean, that's, so.
Ralph, why wouldn't you just run the discharge on top of the ground?
if you run the sump pump doesn't drop the ground, get road use. It goes off one property, another property, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's why people don't do it. That's why they connect to the sewer because it's more convenient. It's less problematic. That's all. I mean, simple, basic thing. So he's saying that we're going to hot pipe it through the foundation into a tank. That tank is always going to take sump pump. It's going to size it. I don't know if the sizing is for the worst rainstorm. If we got 3 or 4 inches of rain, that sump pump's pumping 24 hours a day. I don't know what the sizing is. I don't know what the flow rate of that pump is. So it's just kind of like, I'm just going to put a tank and we're good. So that's all. I mean, again, it's the board's discretion.
Yeah, we were gonna, as I mentioned to you guys, we were gonna do, I think that the 3.5 horsepower flood rated sump pump.
What's the flow rate of that sump pump? 200-300 gallons a minute?
Yeah, but
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. I have to check.
It's probably 3. How large a sump pump is it?
3 horsepower.
3.5 horsepower.
Move some water. But anyway,
That's pretty big.
let's go move
That's
some
pretty
water.
damn big.
Let's go move some water.
That'll move water.
So I don't know.
We could probably use that to replace one of the pumps at Kendrick.
Yeah, that's a 3 horsepower
I mean, that's
and a
that's
5, 3 and a 5. We move a lot of water.
And again, we're amenable to doing whatever you guys want to require as an alternative.
I'm not an engineer, but I don't know if it's our jurisdiction.
Yeah,
I
and we
totally
can certainly
agree.
have our engineer come up with the specs for it.
I'm looking for the meeting minutes where we said that we're going to require grinder pumps in areas of sump pump issues. And we've made people do it. That's all.
If
So-
that is indeed the case, that changes
So-
the scenario.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So I want to look at those minutes. We had this conversation a long time ago. So we had Nazi because he was putting it down on Murphy Street. We had him put grinder pumps. We also had his property that's in Arnold Street and Rose Point. We had him put grinder pumps because we said we didn't want sump pumps potentially tied in at any point in time. So that's all. So I want to find those minutes and I'll dig them up and see exactly what we said.
I know we chatted about it,
Yeah, I think we did a little
and
more than that.
I think it was thrown out that the right way to do things down in those areas is to elevate the system and use grinder pumps.
Yeah, get the system out of the
I
water.
remember having that discussion.
Yep.
Get out of the groundwater with the system is where we should be headed with it. And actually, Guy, that was actually your comment, and I agreed. I don't know if we voted on anything. I don't know.
I'm
I
not
don't-
sure.
I
I
don't-
thought, I don't know what we did.
believe
The
we
minutes.
did, but I remember that discussion, vividly. However, it seems like we were, Steve appears to be addressing that issue without knowing we had that kind of an issue.
Right.
And if we take that a step further and have a deed restriction placed in there that would indicate whatever language is necessary that should a grinder or should any change from the sump pump into the sewer system occur, a grinder pump would have to be installed. It would be required.
Yeah, I think, Steve, what we were trying to do is position ourselves so the system, our deep
Doesn't-
pipes could come up eventually when we have to get there. We were trying to position everybody, doing changes, alterations, something new, so we can get out of the damn groundwater because we're treating a lot of water that we shouldn't be treating.
Yeah, and I understand that. If this lot was in the flood zone or closer to the water, I would be more amenable to it. But like I said, we're not in a flood zone.
Steve, is this the
Definitely.
one that has the yellow house that's gonna be taken down?
No, there's no house on the lot right now. It's an empty
Oh.
lot.
Well, there's sump pumps and Swiss Beach all the way up and through almost to the top. So I mean, whether it's whatever the, FEMA decides the zone, I'm just talking about water table and water. Every
Right.
pipe in that area is flooded.
Right.
And they're all in water and they're all leaking, and every inch of rain, we get 100,000 gallons of I&I, and it gets to be, we
Okay,
have a rainstorm. So it's more than just.
Okay,
floodplain
so
for us.
basically, I think what we're gonna probably do with this at the moment, Steve, is kind of put it on hold to another meeting and give you a chance to check and find out whether or not you can do a deed restriction
Okay.
and what kind
water
of
table?
get some information on a water table if it's possible.
Nice.
Sure.
And
mean,
al- and see what kind of a holding tank, size tank. If we've already got that determined, I just need to see it a little bit better than what we were just looking at, if possible.
Yeah,
So
not a problem.
We'll
Okay.
put it on the next agenda, please.
No, not necessarily. What would be convenient for you? The next agenda, which will be 2 weeks or further out?
No, we can have everything to you in 2 weeks.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to drag it out, but I'm not trying to push you into a corner to
No,
something.
we're not, no. I
Yeah.
mean, if we know where the water table is and you have to elevate that foundation to a crawl,
Right.
that simplifies it for us. It's
Yeah.
probably,
And now, so for my perk test, do you want a witness on that? Or do you want, it would be Dave Andre's the one who would do it for us.
Just call me and I'll watch it with you, Steve. Just call,
Okay.
we'll do it together.
that's
All
all.
right, that sounds good.
Yeah, a little knowledge probably won't hurt here.
Yeah. Yeah,
Most
no,
likely.
I'm good with that. That's
We're not
reasonable.
trying to spend anybody's money, but we're trying to position the town to make the coastal systems more maintenance-free and manageable. So
Yeah.
it was a
Yeah,
big
no, I
mistake.
understand.
What they
Not
did down
impeaching
there
your
was a
integrity,
mistake.
Steve. We're not impeaching your integrity. I'm not.
No,
saying we're
not
impeaching
at
your
all.
integrity.
No,
That's
totally
not what
understand
we're
your,
going with.
the issue. Like you said, we're just concerned, it seems, it'd be different if everybody had to do it, but it seems like, the one or two new constructions that happen in the area.
I know,
Solve the
but
problem.
where do you start?
Right.
Right.
Well,
Right.
we've started. The last 4 houses, so that's all.
Here's the deal too, Steve. Everybody's been kicking this can down the road. We've only been in
That's
business.
40 years.
How long have we been aboard now, Jim?
6 years.
Yeah,
6
Yeah.
years.
we're trying to correct a lot of stuff that we inherited.
Yep. Yeah,
And
we're just trying to come up with solutions with you.
we are, yeah, and I understand that.
I mean, the problem is we're facing essentially a 50-year-old system that hasn't been maintained as it should have been.
And
And-
some of it not
and-
designed
And
properly.
misdesigned, exactly, misdesigned in areas, and unfortunately Swiss Beach is one of them.
Yes.
And when you talk about the flood, it's not in a flood zone. That's today. Wait till FEMA decides that it makes more sense for the insurance companies if they expand the flood zone.
Yep. I know. I live over Cremisa, so.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
That's the game,
Yep. Exactly.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
But okay, so we'll put you on the agenda for 2 weeks from now.
Sounds good. I appreciate it.
Okay, and I
Yep.
appreciate you coming before us.
Thanks,
Yep.
everyone.
Yeah.
I'll be in
Thank you.
touch, guy. Thank
Thank
you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks, Andy. Good seeing you.
See ya.
Okay. Meeting minutes for approval.
I make a motion that we approve the April 8th minutes as presented.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sandy, you in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Peter?
Aye.
Malcolm, aye.
Aye. Okay, 4-0.
And as a note, we are still missing the March 11th and March 25th minutes.
I've written that down and I'll make sure, on Monday, I'll bring it up to Christiana, have a look at them and send them over to you so you can review them and then we'll go from there.
Okay. Kleinfelder, is anything, I don't see anything new on him. Is that? This is what we,
This is a approval of the
the
actual
last-
contract. I don't know if we've approved it, Mr. Chairman, so we can get going and check it. But so for us to meet with the DOT, we have DOT, willing to meet us. The question, last meeting, we didn't vote on the contract that they presented, I think whatever the money was. And we're asking them to move forward on seeing, the likelihood or get approval from the DOT to directional drill under the railroad. And this is that actual contract because we haven't voted on it. We reviewed it last week, but we didn't vote. So this week it's on the agenda for a vote.
we don't have, this isn't a contract for signature that we have.
Sorry?
I
No,
said-
so the signatures you're not going to get anyways because you have to come into the plant to sign
Okay.
because we can't sign via Zoom. So
Okay, but
also
this is-
if you're happy
This is
with
the
the
same stuff, this is the same stuff we had at the last meeting.
yes,
So basically, it's a $21,440 figure, not to
Yes.
exceed.
not to exceed.
Um, And this is for Kleinfelder to coordinate with the railroad and find out if we can go ahead and do what we want to do.
For
The
21,000, for 21,000?
1,000.
Yeah,
The owners of, and the railroad wants the design set of plans. And that's our hang up. I already talked to her. She's a really good lady. We introduced her through Susan Gifford, and we met with her when we were talking about the rail to dig a pipe. I
Right.
called her again. She remembers us, and she goes, "Yeah, you got to have them present a set of plans. Tell me exactly." So it's a little more involved. So you have to develop a set of plans to get to the DOT. They didn't entertain a conversation
Yeah.
with us.
Jesus, guy, I'm kind of curious as to really how much they have to say when we're going underneath them.
Well, the review of the plans or their comments when we did it alongside, they said that's fine, but they're concerned about the settling and the moving of the rails, and that's why they were going to have us put pilings down.
Oh, I know.
A rail, but now that we're 100 feet under, it's a whole new ballgame, and this
Yeah.
presentation is going to show them that there's no settling, and that satisfies their concern. So I don't see them having a whole lot to say. I'm sure they're going to review it extensively. The same engineering firm, Jacobs, that works for the DOT,
Yeah.
and we've worked with them. So it just seems that this is going to be a lot easier, only because of the depth below the rail.
Yeah, I'm fine with that kind of an expenditure. I don't know.
I am. Do I have a motion on this?
How much, we do all of this engineering. Do we have a ballpark figure as to what the project is going to cost? I mean, once we do all the engineering, can we afford the project?
That's a good question. Kevin, we know that the cost is going to be about $40 million, I think it said. So that's the question. Can we afford it? Well, there's to answer that, we'd have to come up with 40,000. And the other question is, as far as the growth of the sewer system, can we not afford it? I don't know the answer. If we come to capacity and we go no further, then I don't know what the answer is going to be. So anyways,
Sandy?
that's
did
where I
you-
am with it.
There is, excuse me, a shitload of federal money coming down for water and sewer. Why aren't we considering that?
It
I
hasn't
believe-
been allocated yet.
No.
And I've already talked to Congressman Keating.
Wait a
and we
second,
get-
wait.
Okay,
Alan,
so-
can you come here?
Yes, so, and I've talked to Congressman Keating's office, and I'm also talking to, I got a name of a senator, but nonetheless, the problem is that as they allocate these funds, they want to chop it up. It seems that sewer always goes to the bottom because they're talking about infrastructure, roads, bridges, et cetera, et cetera. I want to assure that sewer gets a good chunk of this money, and that's not a guarantee. Infrastructure is very wide open, Sandy, so I don't know.
So,
We will apply.
but if we are in a position of having plans, that puts us in a better positioning than
Absolutely.
anybody else. So.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So that's why I think it's, as far as I'm
Because it's
concerned, I
shovel
think it's necessary to continue forward. the
I agree
way we're
with
going.
Sandy. If you have something ready to build, I think.
Yep.
We
That's why
did it
need-
under, who was it, Obama?
We had some,
Oh, that-
I'm not sure.
I mean, that shovel
Shovel
ready,
ready.
you got a lot of stuff done.
You do.
And there's a
Now,
lot of
I
stuff.
will keep groveling. we'll keep groveling for money, but you're right. If we're ready, I mean, I hate to grovel and they say, here it is, and we have nothing to give them. So yeah, you're right. Absolutely right.
Shovel
We've
ready,
got-
they call
Yep,
it.
we've got to be as ready as we can. The minute they release those funds, we want to be first in line.
You're 100%.
I don't know, Peter, I'm
Good point.
comfortable with looking at the first 21,000, so.
I am.
Oh,
Definitely.
I agree
Yeah.
that the 21,000 is, but I'd still, what's the next step?
Well, I had about 38 million in my head. So,
Yeah,
and I'm used to doing big projects. That's
Just a
not-
bit.
It's not a lot of money. Sorry. It's not.
That's fine, but none of it was your money.
Yeah. No, I told, hey, I hear you. I'm just saying it doesn't faze me one bit.
Well, we've got to come up with it, and is it
Well, we have
realistic
to come
that
up
we
with
can
some of
come
it.
up with?
but
We have to come up with some of it.
yeah, we'll have to come up with some.
It's more than for the good of just Wareham, so everybody's got a piece.
All of
Everybody's
that,
got a-
all of that's fine, well and good, Mac, and I totally agree with you. But is it realistic? Can we come up with some of it?
Well, what do we have available in our reserve fund? What do we have available right now that we can spend on this?
We
Probably
have
about
5 million, yeah, $5 million
6 million, yeah.
of free cash.
So Peter, I should say we probably got at least
20%?
a start.
20%?
That's what we'd have to come up with, maybe? No,
I don't know.
No,
yeah,
what are you
I don't
talking,
know.
1%,
right now.
10%? What are you talking about?
Well, if we have 5 and you said 40, what are we talking?
Well, we-
8%.
20%?
8%, was it 8? I don't know. I thought it was 8% off the top of my head, but
8%?
don't go by me. I was never good at math. I wasn't a math major.
Well,
Some of these math
we've
majors.
probably got right at the moment, like about 12.5% in cash in hand.
So that's,
Where's the rest of the money coming from? We could start with bake sales and work up.
Well, but unless we
They-
bring in
the-
all the communities to help pay for this, we're gonna be hitting the
Other-
rate base
know,
hard.
The bottom line is, when you look at the whole project, the bottom line is other communities are gonna come in. Whether they come in on the front end or the back end, they're gonna come in. Because they're gonna be in a position where they're gonna have no alternative. They're gonna have no place to go. When you look at the line going into the canal, we don't continue on and look to try to get this thing done. Before you know it, other places are going to be doing the same thing, and this one is not going to go forward. It's not going to be able to do it because there'll be ones in there already and they won't allow anymore.
Well, how much,
You got the entire Cape that is a cesspool looking to explode. So where are they going to
Right.
go? I mean, it's just,
so what
And
is
I-
Corrine?
they want
Is
to
there
put the bridges in to give it even more impetus to explode.
Is there any help from Buzzards Bay Coalition or Corrine?
Well, yeah, I mean,
They only
they're-
come with their hand out.
they're on board with the idea. They've been leading the parade on getting something done. They've been leading the parade on trying to get
And we've been paying for it. Nobody else.
who cares? They will. The trouble is you're looking for money up front. I'm looking for money eventually. There's a big difference.
I want to know
Yeah.
that when the bill comes due, we've got the money.
We'll have it. I don't know where at the moment, but we'll have it.
Oh, so we'll spend like Biden.
Nobody can spend like him.
well, we're hoping he spends a lot of money in the infrastructure bill, that's for sure. Because we
Yeah,
promised
right.
for the last 5 years for infrastructure, we didn't see a penny. So I'm kind of
Sure.
hoping at least we get some infrastructure money. I think we need to get out there and really encourage
Well-
it and push this along because we need it. The whole country needs it. We're hurting. Infrastructure
And
is in
The
trouble.
thing is, when you look at this thing realistically, you've got towns around us that are borderline with what they're doing. Marion's got troubles. I mean, they've got expenses and troubles. At some point in time, And it may not be tomorrow, and it's not going to be the day after, but at some point in time, you're going to see that the EPA or one of those alphabet organizations is going to be on our ass and making us sewer the entire town. And not just us, but the other surrounding towns, particularly anybody that's got any kind of waterfront exposure. Just going to happen. Look at the way the rest of the stuff is going. You know that's going to happen. And, I'd rather see us continue on the way we're going, try to get this thing off the ground, get it moving, get it going. Granted, we're going to have some money issues, and that's going to be a teeth gnashing thing as we go along. But, at some point in time, the other towns, whether they, as I say, hop in on the front side right now and become regionalized with us and do it on that basis, or whether they come in as a customer.
The other towns,
and pay
we
twice
haven't
as much.
finished doing Wareham. We got all of the other West Wareham, go up Main Street. We got all of the other stuff to fix.
We're just talking, you're talking about fixing. No, fixing is going to have to happen regardless of anything. So that's an item that we know we're going to have to do. Some of the stuff that we're going to fix and go is going to be come under what we're going to do, assessment or
Betterment?
Jimmy, your
betterment,
your philosophy sounds like we're going to run in the red. Just do it.
You're either going to run in the red and do it, or you're going to bring the town to a stop. Take your pick. I mean, because that's what's going to happen. Now, as I say, it's not going to happen in the next 5 years, but it's going to happen if something isn't done and done practically.
Well,
And,
you're at a temporary hold right now.
Yeah, and if you've got an alternative
are.
to try to do the pipeline, tell me what it is, and we'll go off in that direction. Right now, we're going in more than one direction as it is. We're going after groundwater discharge. We're going after additional.
I agree that it has to be done, Jimmy. I just want to know where the money's coming from. I don't have it.
Don't know, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't continue to plan for it.
That's what scares me.
Well,
That's your chair white.
Well, I'm willing to put my foot in it and say I'd like to do a feasibility with the railroad. Because if
Oh, yeah.
they're out,
oh yeah, I mean we've
I
got
don't
to
know
do this because that's going to tell us right off the bat what we're going. What
Do you
our
want to
potential-
vote? Jimmy, do you want to vote?
Yeah, on this, I would like one. I would
I
like
make
to,
a motion that we approve the $21,440 for the outfall feasibility and what's the rest of the word?
railroad. Actually, it's the railroad feasibility.
and that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whether they're going to allow this or not,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
that'll be the stumbling block.
With the, outfall force main feasibility and routing analysis with the
Right.
rail owner coordination.
Yeah. I'll second that.
All in favor? Matt,
I,
aye.
Aye.
4-0. 4-0-0.
I really want to know what we get back. So
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I'm anxious about that. I don't think they can say a hell of a lot, to be honest with you.
Well,
I think it's a good project. Yeah, I agree with you all. It's a good project, and because you're deep, I don't know what they can say.
well,
Yep. And maybe they know that.
I kind of agree too, but after sitting in that meeting with them, with Guy, 6 years ago,
The railroad,
and how positive they were at that time with us, I thought we were going to be a lot further along than we are at the present time.
Yeah. Well,
So,
they had a solution, was cost prohibitive. What they
exactly.
Do.
So, I mean, I think the solution this potential solution is not cost prohibitive.
Okay,
Hopefully,
Guy, will there be a contract to sign for this 21,000?
yes.
Okay,
I think what we'll do is, first of all, the contract sheet I've got to get, and then the signature here. I'll have that drawn up, and then it'll be at the plant, and you guys come in at your leisure and sign it, at least 3.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay, going forward, 181 Onset Ave. Is-
81 onto that. What's that one about? 81 onto that.
That was,
I thought that. was-
are we,
I-
is this just information or are we voting on something?
this is just information as I
Oh.
see it.
Did we
Okay.
vote on Kleinfelder?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I heard that, but I just want to make sure, because I'm,
Yep.
it's like, it takes a minute to get through, just to make sure. What
Uh,
are the, I'm really 181 Onset Avenue.
Wait a minute, I had that here a second ago and I just
It is
missed.
181. I'm not gonna look it up.
That, wasn't that the one where we, oh, no, that
we
was
gave them too
411.
much money. We abated
That's,
too much.
that's
money.
right. That's right. That was Mr. Yeah. We actually, we took care of that. We've already taken
Okay.
care of it.
Yep.
What we did is, we called John Foster and we did it through Vadar. It's all been taken care of.
Okay,
We did. We gave him $540
Yeah,
too
all right.
much. He caught it, but it's okay. It's taken care of.
Okay.
That's right. That's the motel.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
That old memory.
And then we have. What the hell was this? Wait a minute.
you want to know what's next? EDU discussion.
No, well, let's. We haven't sat down and gone over any, but the one discussion as we left it off at the last meeting was whether or not, whether we're talking about a 2 or 3 bedroom house, and the 3 bedroom makes the most sense because that ties in with the Title V's minimum requirement. So,
I'd like to say 3.
Yeah, that's what I said.
I'd like to get that far and agree on it or not, so.
can I have a motion to go for the 3?
Well, wait a minute. Did we get any analysis from the clerk, from assessors?
I didn't get anything in writing. She just told me verbally 2.7. I'm waiting for, I'll rush her along. She told me
The
to take a
reason-
little bit.
The reason that we just, but the reason we discussed the 3 is because that's the minimum Title V requirement. And everything's been supposedly based on Title V, so it doesn't seem to me make much sense to deviate dramatically from that unless we've got water to use instead.
So what are we saying?
We're gonna use 3 bedroom as a basis for an EDU. You can word it however you want.
So we're saying
Is that
330 gallons. To word it for flow, Sandy,
I'm having
330 gallons.
discussion. I'm having a tough time hearing 3 people talking at the same time.
Oh, no
We have
multitask.
one EDU rate.
I thought Alan wasn't in the room.
Excuse me a
No.
second. Excuse me 1 second.
So
No sense of humor.
No, it's been a tough one. One single family dwelling is a 1 EDU. And it is something that is 3 bedrooms or under.
Yes.
For anything over 3 bedrooms, we are going to add for a 1 EDU plus a half for each bedroom over it.
No, you're going too far. We're just gonna agree on what comprises an EDU tonight, right?
One EDU equals a single family
3-bedroom home.
with 3 bedrooms.
And Sandy, you can talk to Jim, but that's flow by DEP is
What-
330 gallons.
What,
If you gotta put it on the
what's,
scale.
Which is the equivalent of, what, 330, guy?
Yes, 330 gallons.
So you can put that in there, Sandra. Go on.
per day?
Yes, per day.
And when we say single family, do we use, or should we say single family unit? Does it include apartments?
Anything with 3 bedrooms, apartment has 3 bedrooms, wouldn't that be an
Okay, so
EDU?
I called it a single family.
So what do you want to call it?
Is there,
Well, I believe that's what we've been using right along on everything else is a single family.
okay,
Or you know what? You can call it a dwelling unit with
Yeah, exactly.
3
Just call it a
bedrooms and
Three
the
bedrooms,
equivalent
12.
of 330 gallons. That's all.
So a
And
single
dwelling unit would cover everything, correct?
Yep.
Residential.
one EDU is a dwelling unit with 3 bedrooms or less.
Yep.
With an average 330 gallons per day.
Sounds
And that,
good.
that has a 1 EDU. Okay. Do you want to vote on it or we just put it in the minutes?
No, we should vote on it.
I think we should vote on that.
That's the new classification for a single family dwelling.
Correct.
And or 1 EDU.
Okay, so for a dwelling unit with 3 or less bedrooms is considered a 1 EDU.
That's the intent.
Yes.
And we'll call it a dwelling unit.
Yes.
Yep.
We don't want to get into semantics here, whether it's an apartment or whatever
No,
the hell. is
So
going
a
on.
dwelling unit
Yep.
with 3 bedrooms or less will be charged 1 EDU.
Affirmative. Do I have a second?
That's my motion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Malcolm White, aye.
Jim Gibberti, aye.
Sandy Slavin, aye.
Peter Dunlop present.
Okay, 301. That's how it goes, right? Ding, 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 ding. Ding, 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 there we are.
Peter,
Okay.
what would you prefer?
I'm just, I think there's a lot more 2-bedroom homes. I really don't see why we have to tie it to the Title V classification. And I'm just not comfortable with it. There's going to be too many people, in my estimation, that are going to come looking for some sort of an abatement because they only use 1 bedroom. And
No, it says, it encompasses everything up to 3, done. It's very clear.
yeah, but it's
There's
also
no-
it's also saying 330 gallons.
I didn't put that in the motion.
Not to exceed 330 gallons.
I didn't put it in the motion.
Correct.
I'll pass.
Okay. I'm just trying to understand why you,
I'm just not comfortable with it, Sandy.
okay, thank you.
Okay, we have GAF Engineering for their project.
Where
Tower
is it?
Terrace, I believe. Tower Terrace,
Yes, Tower Terrace.
Where is it?
Tower Terrace.
Oh, come on.
mean,
North,
come
south,
on?
east, west, center, where,
In
near, where?
Wareham.
Tower Terrace. How long you been in Wareham? And you're, Tower Terrace is there Mr. Palin used to live? I think some of the Deacons live up there. Tower Terrace, off of Main Street,
That's off of
Just
Main
before the
Street.
bridge?
Okay, I got it, where the water tower is.
Tower Terrace. Yes, that's the one.
Okay. I knew somebody that lived there and he killed his wife.
Oh, that's not good. I don't think we should approve it.
Okay,
You put it in the sewer system?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want any digging. I want to find somebody, you know?
Too much
So-
information, too much information.
okay.
So Tower Terrace,
Knock it off.
if you look at the plans,
Now I know where it
sewer's
is.
only on one portion of Tower Terrace. You come in and go left, that's the only portion. And so there's a house on the backside that doesn't have sewer available. And so they want to run that property through Dean Deacus's property into Tower Terrace to tie into the sewer. That's all they're asking. So it's a single family home. Let me see the bedrooms. I'm not so sure. I thought it was 3, but.
So this becomes a number 7, request number 7?
It's on the moratorium, but wherever it's gonna go, it's gonna go. And we have it here.
Who's number 6, Sandy?
Number 6 was the car wash at the old 99.
Right.
The list in the packet that we have, they're missing number 4, which was the Gatra wash station on Tower Road. It isn't listed on this master we got in our packet.
Did we put, I didn't realize, okay, we put Gatra in the pool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, we did. We did Gatra
You're probably right.
on the February 25th meeting, we put in Gatra as number 4,
Okay,
3 Tower Road.
yes. 3 Toll
So
Road.
this becomes number 7.
Okay,
I thought that was.
Now here's this just slightly off topic. If I'm aware of a project been approved by conservation and they're adding a in-law apartment, who determines whether or not they can hook up to sewer for this house, for the addition on the property?
they're already hooked up to sewer, right?
Not the new dwelling.
Well, if it's an in-law apartment, it has to be connected to the present dwelling. It's not a separate unit.
Sorry, it is connected via a deck.
Well, that's a good one. So it's actually a separate building. Does that in-law apartment have a kitchen?
No, it's simple. Is it on the same lot?
It's on the same lot, and yes, there's a kitchen and bathroom.
So
Well,
then it can't
if
be an
it-
in-law apartment, because if you look at the state law, in-law apartment cannot have those things. So it actually becomes a dwelling unit, and it's less than 3 bedrooms, so it's an EDU.
There you go, MIB, money in the bank.
Absolutely. And we're gonna have to address in-law apartments. Are they worth a half EDU? There's the bedroom. So
There
with
you
the
go.
There's the bedroom.
we pick
No,
those up.
I just mentioned to them that they need to get a hold of the sewer department on this new dwelling.
Right.
Because that deck is slick. That's a slick move, the deck.
That sounds like a Nazi move.
I was just, didn't somebody do
Sounds
that
like-
before?
yeah.
Sounds like a breezeway.
Yes, a connector.
Interesting move.
Yep, very interesting.
You know, I look at, just to be a serious moment, I look at all the different opportunities people have to add flow to their home. And especially, I have a gentleman calling me, he wants to he's got a garage, he's got his office there, he wants to put a bathroom. And I asked him, I said, sir, and it's an onset on the water. I said, sir, what are you doing? He said, well, you know, my home office. Oh, that's fine. I said, what are you gonna do with the other space? Well, it's really not a lot of space. He said, you're gonna put a bedroom there. Well, I don't think so. Well, can you put a bedroom there? So my point is that becomes a beautiful summer B&B. It's great. It's all these little things that folks are doing. If you go to Swiss Beach, you'll see little cottages made out of sheds, and they're rentals. And
What about the RVs parked in the driveway?
just, I mean, it's incredible. And because if they take their RV connected to the sewer, then do we charge for that? Those are, I mean, because the folks, we have a capacity issue. And all I'm saying is with all this flow that's accounted for. And we're trying to be diligent and count flow. And we got so much flow that we have no concept. And people just add it in. And so we're going to have a bigger problem because we think we're addressing something and we're really not. That's all. That's my only point.
Sandy,
So, thank you,
could
Sandy.
you
Good
go back
catch.
to our list? You said the car wash was number what?
Car wash was number 6, the first Hartford Realty on
Yeah.
3013 Cranberry Highway.
3013.
That's the car wash.
That's number 6. Why is it listed as number 5?
Because they
Because we-
didn't say number
But
4
they
for
didn't put in
Gatra.
number 4.
Well, but she took, yeah, right. And she also took out, didn't we have on the malt factory, I think the kitchen, they took
Right.
that out.
Wait, Guy, wait a second. Let me just get Peter. So if you take a look on the list, there's 5, there should be 6. So insert between Littleton Drive and Robinwood, insert number 4, the Gatra at 3 Toe Road.
Okay, that's what I was missing.
Yep, we did that on February 25th.
Sounds right.
So we
Okay.
are putting in this Deacon's one at number 7,
Why don't we just call it the Tower Terrace?
whatever you want to call it.
Okay. Next, please, 311 Onset Ave.
That's an abatement error. We abated them, never put the account on hold, build them again.
Okay, so this is just
Did he pay it
This is-
again?
FYI.
Did he pay it a second time, guy?
Well, I want to stop the bill. He was very upset when he got a bill.
Oh, no. Okay, he didn't pay it.
Do we have to vote on GAF? Jim,
No.
I went into the
to
queue.
put them on the queue?
We just put them in the queue.
Just putting them in the queue.
We didn't vote on the others. We just indicated that. we
Okay, all right, all right.
Right.
What's 196 Main Street?
Irene's
Irene's Flower
Flowers,
Shop. Irene's Flowers.
Oh,
change of use to a wine bar. I guess it's competing with a beer bar. I don't really know, but it's wine bar. And because he's going to have hors d'oeuvres, he's putting in a grease trap. There should be no flow increase. It's paper goods, whatever. And I want the trap for the future because someday when we have no flow capacity, I'm sure he's going to do other things. There's no dishwasher, none of that stuff. So he's assured us of that. But someday I always look at potential. That's just me.
Wareham
happen?
needs a wine bar.
A
Do we
wine
have
bar.
do we have a liquor license for this?
That's not my concern.
They'll
I
make
know.
one.
I'm talking,
And I don't know.
I'm hoping that Alan heard the question.
Is a
They'll
liquor
make one. Don't worry
license,
about it.
is a liquor license different from a wine license? I don't know. I'm asking a question.
Maybe. You kicked him out of the room, Sam. He's done.
I did.
I was unaware that we even had a wine license available.
I didn't even think we had a bar license.
I don't want to know about it. What else we got?
We
Next,
do not have a bar license. We have restaurant.
I have
I
no
don't want to
idea.
know. I don't want to know.
So that's why,
Yeah.
but it's a change of use. I'm going to sign the change of use. I want the board to be aware.
Good idea.
All right, superintendent's report, please, sir.
I'm not going to belabor. I've got a report, but I'm going to break this down. So I'm very sorry. The bypass at the Narrows Pump Station, we did the final tie-in last night from 10 at night till 7 this morning. And that bypass was the CZM, Coastal Zone Management grant we got last year. And so it took a while to get it going and get the bids out, et cetera, et cetera. So now it's, we're going to probably complete it next week. So what we're doing is we're putting a bypass pipe into the manhole so I can take that station offline for repairs in the event of anything, a hurricane, whatever, and we can put a pump truck there and just keep that station running.
So it's
And
still
last night
work
we
in
also
progress?
experimented. I'm sorry?
you expect to complete it by next week?
I do.
Well, now I know what you were doing down there.
Yes, I saw you several times.
I just, it was a
I
good
didn't-
project.
I didn't
It's a good
see you. I
project.
saw the equipment. So
I was down there. I didn't go at night. That's nighttime. I
saw-
can't do nights.
Yeah.
Can't do nights.
it was at night. So
Oh, you didn't see me.
no.
'Cause
No,
you didn't
During
see
the
me.
day.
During the
nice
day.
weather. Yep.
During the day. So that's wrapping up. We also have the bid openings for the water pollution control improvements, the filters and the number 5, I'm going to call it base number 5, that's covered for odors. That goes out to the bids. The first set of bids are going to be the sub bidders. And that would be electricians. I think Malcolm, you're aware, all the different sub bids, whether it's masonry,
Yeah.
electrician, carpenters, whatever, people for the
Same thing.
covers, concrete specific. And then the following, we'll have the GC bid opening. And then that project starts. We're working with the SRF funding folks, the state, and we're meeting deadlines. And so it's moving along good. It's still on time, and we hope to continue to be on time. So I wanted
Who
to bring that up.
qualified as generals guy? You know,
I'll send you the list now. There's about 6 of them. I'll send you the list.
No, that's good. No, six
We have
is good.
6 generals.
Yeah, good, good.
So I'll send you the list. We have a plan holders list. I'll see that you get it.
That's good.
Actually, I'll scan it and send it to the board. So you'll
Yeah,
see.
that'd be good. Yeah.
It also include the sub bidders. So you'll see all that too. So
Yeah.
I'll send that to the board. So I'll leave that alone. I got so much, but I don't want to.
Oh, wait.
Go ahead.
I stopped by the plant and those basins look beautiful.
Yeah, we're connecting them Saturday. We're going to tie them in. Aren't they great? They are. They come out really nice.
There was water in it, so I figured it was rainwater.
It is.
They're
but
gonna,
it's-
that's gonna look good on your Christmas card.
I was thinking about that. It's good. It's really come out. They did a good job. Yeah. So Saturday, I think from 8 to 12, we're going to cut into the pipe that goes to the D-night filters and put the diversions in. We have all the distribution boxes in. Now we're going to make the actual cut. So we'll do that Saturday. And then it's a matter of making sure the valves operate, et cetera, et cetera. We got valves coming from the plant. We also have them coming from bases 1 and 2. So we're hoping in a couple of weeks to have that project to the point where we're going to do punch list. And then we'll do punch
Yay.
list. And
Beautiful.
it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
That's moved along very well.
I'm impressed. Yes, they just kept going. They just kept going.
Moved very well. Of course, I mean, thankful for the winter we had too, but
Yes.
that didn't hurt.
I think we should have them from now on. I kind of like the last couple
Absolutely.
of winters. And I think we should.
Absolutely.
We talked about capacity, and I think I sent the board, I got it from Ken, the decisions from the courts on 40Bs. Pretty interesting reading. If you haven't read it,
Yeah.
please read it. It's pretty extensive, it just pretty much says utilities versus the need for housing, and the need for housing usually beats up utilities. There's a cited cases where we have lost, and it becomes our responsibility to plan for it. They said that, you have 25-year sewer plans, et cetera, and they're putting onus on us. So I just thought that was good reading, and we have a bunch of 40Bs, and we have to be prepared for them because in all likelihood they're going to go through, and then we have a sewer issue. We got to start dealing with that stuff. But that was
We
interesting.
don't already?
Yes, sir. And then I sent the article on aging infrastructure. It's a very good article, and I hope you guys have time to read it. It's concise. It's all the things we've been working on, things we've been saying. It's a good article.
Anybody who hasn't read it should read it. It is good.
It's a good article. It talks about everything we talked about. And for me, one of the things it talks about is the lack of labor help. And that's where all the plants have the issue.
Yep.
And all this, what they call what do you call it? That knowledge that's retiring. It's all going, historic knowledge, it's all going away. And we're in trouble. Wastewater's in trouble for that reason. So I thought, for me, it's an interesting read, and we're trying to figure out how to get operators coming out of school, maybe trade schools, et cetera, et cetera. We talked about Wankinko and the problems there. Wankinko's in trouble. We all know that there was a blow up on Sump Pump. Sump Pumps caused a lot of hassle. Wankinko is failing rapidly, and it's going to come to the point very soon where it's not going to work at all. And that's I think it's 1,500 feet. I've called around for diligence on some quotes to repair it. We rip it and put a new one in, and an average 2.2 million. I've also talked to JC Engineering, asked them what it would cost me to do some surveying there, which would be Wankinko, Barnes, Pleasant, and Bayview, and all of Wankinko, which to see whether delineation of property lines, some is private, some is public, and I'm trying to figure all that out. And I thought in the long run, if we decided to do grinder pumps the whole area and get rid of some pumps, that's one thing, or just simply replace Wankinko and continue with the issues we have, other than Wankinko not failing. So I'll present that formally, because we're going to have to eventually go out to bid. Where the 2.2 comes from, we'll have to figure that out of the 5 million or whatever, because when it fails, that area is in major trouble. That's on the water.
And what will we do when it fails?
Shut
We
it down.
will watch it flow out of the pipes and into the water. That's what we will do. I'm pumping it now. I put a pump down there, a big pump down there, at least twice a week to pump out all the water from it and just keep pumping it to Swiss Beach Road into the pump station because it backs up that much. And then we put a snake in there to clean out the pipe, because what happens when you collapse the liner, it collects debris. Debris backs everything up, and the liner is totally collapsed. So that 6-inch, 8-inch pipe is now about a 5-inch pipe, and getting worse every day. So that issue has to be addressed. We can't ignore it. So that's what I'm doing on that. And as I get more formal and closer to it, I'll talk to the board. Engineering costs, Mr. Chairman, I'm thinking we have a $300,000 line. That's for engineering in Swiss Beach, a town meeting. We have about $300,000 left. I think we should look at that monies for any engineering we need down in that area. Whether it be surveying, I think surveying is about 50 grand. I have no concept of designing the replace removal of the one Kinkle. I want to look at that also. But I would suggest, if it's okay with the board, that's the funds we use.
Well, that would make sense. So if it makes sense, it probably won't work.
Well, I know.
Well, can we use it for something it was not approved for?
The proof for engineering. Actually, it was approved for engineering in Swiss Beach, a town meeting. And so we have, I think we had at one time 800,000 or something, and we've been using it. So it's a town meeting article. You can look at the article.
No, but I'm trying
Make
to
sure we're
find
right.
it. I'm trying to find it.
Okay,
If
and
it's-
then just make, you can make sure if we're right. It did say,
Yeah,
I thought at one time we asked them to take it to town wide. If that
If it
happened,
was
I
for,
like that.
if it was for engineering, we should be able to use it for that. That's not.
Yes, I don't, no doubt. It was specific for engineering. I would suggest that.
Surveying qualifies as engineering.
It is. We need to know what our options are and what the costs are going to be.
Yeah.
And Wankinko, with the biggest concern, Mr. Chairman, is that water's at 4 feet and 5 feet. The pipe is down 15 to 17 feet. So dewatering is going to be a major deal. Plus we have an asbestos water main, 6-inch water main on that whole street. And when you start digging and it's asbestos water main, that could be compromised. And once you compromise it, we could lose it. So that's got to be shored. So it's not just a simple task. And dewatering is going to take, last time we did 20 feet, it took us a week to dewater down to 20 feet. So those are the kind of issues, and engineering is going to be important to make sure it's done properly.
Jimmy, I think we need to clarify which article that was for, because we know that if we put in an invoice for something not covered by a town meeting, it will not be paid.
I'll look at it and then I'll send it to you.
I can't find anything that just says for engineering other than a covered lagoon and D-night filter and
We have it in the budget. Sandy, I'll send it to you. I have it in the budget.
engineering
So
narrow. Yeah, okay.
I'll have Lee send it to you. It's in our budget, so I'll have Lee send it to you. And then you can look it up to make sure we're correct. All right, so I'll have Lee send it over to you. And
All
you can
right.
read it and see where we are with it, just so we're definitely 100% sure.
Yes.
And
I'll do that.
the selectmen put on the capital plan on the spring town meeting warrant, so that 990,000 for your capital items have been placed on the warrant.
Okay, thank you.
Beautiful. Okay. Guy, anything else?
Yeah, I can go on forever, but I'm going to stop here. Well, we
Thank
talked about Kendrick. We'll stop here. We could talk about Kendrick and Thatcher and all that good stuff. Mr. Chairman, we have a budget that we approved and the contract signed for groundwater. What I'd like to do, and you guys can kick it around, but what I'd like to do is we have an industrial park that's down next to, I think it's Wallaca Trucking Company on Route 28, and there's an industrial park to the left. There's a lot of land. What I'm suggesting is to put a small package plant there, about 200,000 gallons a day, maybe 250,000. It's part of our comprehensive wastewater management plan, and bring everything in that area to that treatment plant and put it in the groundwater. That'll alleviate the 200,000, 300,000 that's going to the plant. It'll free up capacity to give us time as we're sorting out all these other projects we're trying to develop, like going to the canal. And so I was thinking of taking a little bit of that money, having them divert and look at that land and see if we could actually dismiss groundwater to there. I want to meet with Ken next week and get owners and parcels, all that good stuff. And then take a mini plan. I've been working with these folks from China, and the technology is incredible. So anyways, that's something I'm throwing out, and I'm going to meet with Ken. I'm going to meet with Buzzards Bay Coalition. I'm going to meet with that group from China and see the feasibility of it, because it makes a whole lot of sense to bring.
If you're talking about groundwater discharge, you're taking your life in your hands meeting with Buzzards Bay Coalition.
I know.
At least one of them.
I know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, and because we have a surface water discharge, but here's the thing. What we're going to be removing is all the septic systems. Everybody up there's on septic.
Oh, yeah.
And what we have on sewer, we're going to take also, but we start taking that trailer park out and bring it so that trailer park can expand. The one across the street, there's a bunch of trailer parks that the DEP and the Buzzards Bay Coalition want to get off sewer septic systems. So I think there's enough enticement to go from 45 milligrams per liter to 10 or 5 in the ground. It's a tremendous that's not going to go to the head of the Weebiantic River, which is a river we have to clean up because it's on that list, as is Narrows and Wareham. So I think in the big picture of things, I think it'll be very doable, and I think it'll be a good project for everybody. So,
Guy,
where's it gonna-
As a back of the envelope question, what would be your ballpark figure for doing something like that?
I don't know. I'm asking. I asked the plant developers what that cost would be for 200,000 gallons. I have to remove solids, and then there's the bed. I'm asking you to give me a price on a bed for 200,000 gallons a
Is
day.
that, Guy, is that like a membrane plant?
Yes, it's a membrane. It's the pilot they did in Plymouth. Yes, it's a anoxic membrane plant.
Yeah, I built one.
They're incredible removal. They do a great job.
Actually, I think the guts of the plant came on skids. I think a guy in Fall River built it.
It comes on skids. It's actually comes in, the boxes they use for shipping. It's pretty much what it looks like. That's about what it is. They drop it, and they drop modules. So you can go 50,000, 100,000, 150. And if we grow in the future, if we're going to grow that area and maybe go up into Westfield or whatever, then you just keep adding these modules so you can increase your treatment. So it just gives us a future with a decentralized treatment plant to take care of West Wareham for all our future needs in West Wareham, because West Wareham is growing considerable and continues to grow. And that all feeds the Weebiantic. And so it has to be addressed. And so it's a good way to address it. So I'm looking at
Guy, there's a good chance there's some wetland back there because we recently approved a project from conservation, and there's wetlands back there. So please check before you do much more work on it.
Absolutely. We're looking at
Thank you.
policies first. Yes. And we're going to do, and the engineers are going to be very careful about that.
Could we float one of these plants on top of the wetlands?
Hey, Sandy,
Yes.
did you approve the project where they already cut the trees last year?
Where?
I'm just asking. I heard them cutting out there.
Well, no, the project we approved has already been built.
I also thought of Deacon School also. That's a good location too. The town owns it. So I'm looking at everything, and we'll get more diligent as we do that. But I think we put something in that area, it's going to address a lot of future needs.
Okay, so basically what you're asking is to use some of that money for the groundwater discharge and look at that area for the basically a groundwater discharge, but
correct.
Amplified.
Someplace else for another reason.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't have
I
a
just
problem.
think it's just looking at something else, other ideas, because we are running through capacity, even with the new basins, there's that gallons we don't know about. And so we're looking at the long term. And then I know there's some concerns about the canal costs. Something like this would be a lot cheaper. I'm thinking max out 4, 5, 6 million. And not that that's cheap money, but that's something that's doable. And then at least we buy a lot of time as we move forward.
I mean, it would be an expensive Band-Aid, but it would be a longer term Band-Aid than some of the other stuff we're looking at.
Absolutely. It can also become permanent and solve all the issues in West Wareham. That has that potential also, because we make sure the groundwater can handle that for the future. Because I'm amazed at West Wareham. I'm amazed. It's huge. I never remember it like that. There's houses everywhere.
It's the new frontier.
And it impacts the Weebiantic.
Thanks a lot.
I know, just it impacts it.
Really screwed up the neighborhood so far.
So
and by the way, there are plenty of box turtles here. Don't believe any of the shit you heard.
But we have a box turtle.
I watch them go right through my yard.
Do you have recipes for them?
But they're not there. I watch them.
Do you have recipes for them?
No, they're my buddies.
Oh, okay, just asking.
I like them.
So, Mr. Chairman, I'll end there, and I'll save the rest of it for another meeting. But that's some of the thoughts we have and things I'm working on.
Well, thank you very much for getting us up to speed on this. Okay, sump pumps in our homes connected. That's just on there is still happening, and it's just to continue to be aware of. I don't know with everything that's been going on with the COVID over this time period, whether Bob has had much activity on homes connecting. I know some have been, but.
I have 2 more coming up. They're
Really?
coming.
Good.
I have 2 more coming up.
Oh, that's good.
In Cremisa. So yeah, we just did another one in Cremisa on Sippacan Road that was just completed.
Good,
So yeah,
Very good.
it's still moving along.
very
That's
good.
great.
Yes.
Okay. Any new business, Sandy?
Oh, we have a request from Minko Boys Catering. I sent it on to you, Jimmy.
Yeah, I forgot what it was. Yes, you did. I don't
So they
have it.
wanted something, the minutes have not been, the 325 minutes have not been approved, so I can't send
That's
them
all.
that. But he's looking for something to confirm on the committee letterhead that we gave them approval to hook up. So did you do it? No?
No,
Okay.
I was gonna say, we'll have the minutes approved at the next meeting. So we could send him a copy of those minutes.
Well, I'm sure he was
Yeah.
looking for it to go with his, what is it, his lawyer or loan agreement, so I'm sure he can't wait much.
Oh, okay.
He was looking for something quick. Okay,
Guy, can you have Christiana do a quick letter up?
Send me what you want. I'll make sure she gets it done. Well, I mean, is it very basic? What do you want to say?
Yeah, just basic.
The board approved it. Okay.
Approved
All
it,
right.
that's it.
I'll have to do it off the minutes.
Nothing.
so he
I
asked,
don't,
please in writing on a committee letterhead with the results of the voting for the hookup at Stone Path. All it is looking for that, on 325, we approve the hookup.
yeah. So. Doesn't need to be a long drawn out epistle.
Just, we approved. Okay. Oh,
Oh,
what's the next meeting?
the next meeting is the 13th of May. May Day.
Okay,
Anybody else have anything, Peter?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay, he's subbing for Donna. So I have a
Yep.
second.
Second,
Okay, all in favor. Next meeting, then, the 13th of May,
what
Okay.
time is it?
6:30. Oh, now you mean?
7:51,
7:51.
751.
Did we vote? Yes?
Yes, yeah, we did.
Oh, okay.
And you did too.
I did. I voted
Yes.
to adjourn.
Yes, you did.
Ask Alan.
Ouch. Ouch.